in this best of three series Swiss stages 1-1 bracket. Basically, these teams they're still fighting in, and they gotta get the 3 pointers to join the teams LCF and Tartarus in the playoff stages. And right now we're going to be diving into the game. This is a best of three series, and after all, every game counts. And of course, you're mentioning the Uranus from your mom. It's going to be very crucial after all, because I think giving it immediately, there's just no chance.
Mhm.
This guy
Yep.
played Uranus before the buffs. Keeping it open after the buffs, it's a foolish move, right, Mikey?
Yeah, I guess so. But I think they should have kept it open because they got the first pick. They could have gone for it, but maybe they have other plans. They can go for other heroes. From the side of Maaf, they will go for the next ban. If they're focusing on the junglers, they can ban off. Okay, they are locking on to the EXP. I think they predicted that since they banned out the Uranus, there's a high possibility of the Lapu Lapu getting picked. That's why they banned it off, and I think that's a decent thing to do. Shinju.
Yeah, I feel both the EXP, like we have been talking about, right, have been performing so well. So I think teams like which have a really good EXP lane players would not want to just give it up for free. And I feel the Uranus is definitely a target ban, but I think that is not all they need to ban in this game, because there are a lot of heroes that they should be getting rid of, like the Matilda, like we have talked about, Mikey. But so far it is still open, and I feel the recent adjustment onto the Raphaelite is still a target ban for a lot of teams. But hey, the Baxia Ray still being banned, like I was saying, this hero still performs well.
Yeah, because a little bit of a damage reduction, reduction being reduced, and the anti-heal being reduced by 10%. It's not exactly something that can be moved him out of the meta. He's not being that picked much into the Southeast Asian places, but he's still being a priority over here because people don't want the healers to come into the place, right? The Estes, the Rafaela, the Florin, they still cause havoc if they're picked. So making sure that, if you're going to pick a healer, you got to take out the Baksha. And if you're not betting it out, it's most likely going to get picked, because overall, having free anti-heal, having free dominance ice right in the early of the game, it's basically a free item slot, isn't it? It's really good. Overall, they're going for a slow ban so far, but I'm looking for a forward to the first pick, especially considering the fact that the Lapu Lapu has gotten banned out, as well as the Kimi, Baksha, Uranus, all the possible chances. So are we going to be seeing a Granger first pick, or I don't think it's going to be a Farsa? What do you predict would be the first pick, Mikey?
I think they can lock onto the Hayabusa if they want to. They can go with that.
Mhm.
But if they want to go for other roles, then for the support, Matilda and never mind. She got banned out right now. Matilda and Rafaela still open. So if they want to go for that, they can lock onto it. So there are a lot of opportunities right now because they can go for any role they want, but it depends which particular role they prioritize the most and which they can lock onto. The EXP already lost two of their most, I'd say the most buffed up heroes right now, like Uranus and Lapu Lapu. They can go quite aggressive now, but we won't be seeing them in this round. Chinru.
Yeah, like you said, the EXP is still strong, so the bans are pretty necessary. But again, I think they should not leave out the Farsa pick or even the gold lane, some of the picks I would want to say. But the Badang ban still a good flex to have for the first pick, so they want to deny that out here. And I feel a team Anarchy, they can still go for a good hero. Maybe the Phobius as well can be a good choice, because given the fact most of the heroes are banned, the strong picks like you mentioned. But hey, there's a lot of options on the table that they can go for. So I'm still thinking what they can actually go for out here. Maybe a first.
I feel like
Infra?
it should be Hayabusa. No,
Okay,
it's
great.
gonna be the Granger. I've been
Okay.
telling it from the first minute, isn't it, right, Shinryu? I've been saying Granger, Granger,
Uh,
Granger. India loves its Granger, bro. I am telling you, like, people love this guy. To be fair, maniacs after maniacs, Sky Piercer stack, snowballing, all the shredding you can do. I don't blame Indian teams for basically sticking to this guy for so much. But over here, Maaf coming in, Julie is
hey.
gonna be taking the jungle onto the Yushin Shin, loving it. And of course, the Farsa is also going to be coming in, giving out the range and everything. So overall, they have two really solid picks, but still, there's a lot of more options available into the the arena, because we still have the Hayabusa open, a good option to go for against the Yushin Shin to match the farming speed. But I'm really looking forward to the flex picks over here into the EXP lane. Phobius is gonna get picked over here, or we're
And
gonna see the Zushin. What do you think, Mikey?
I think from the side of Anarchy, they will go for the jungler right now and focus on any heroes that are bulky but also able to, farm up quickly. As we were talking about Hayabusa, that can be option. Very controversial pick. Freya can be picked, I
ooh,
guess, but I don't think
I'm
they're
not.
gonna go that. Alot and Khalid, both of them got picked out. Alot is pretty good. Khalid is pretty decent as well. Khalid most probably being the roamer of the team, and Alot in the EXP. And for the side of Maaf, right now they can lock onto the marksman, I believe. Otherwise, from the side of Anarchy, they'll be banning them out in the next banning phase. Chindu.
yeah, I mean, I feel they should not rush in the marksman yet a little bit because there's a lot of option for the mages which can actually counter out the marksman pick right now, right? You can still pick the marksman in the second phase. Like you can see, they got in for the Phobias because they have a lot of dash team Anarchy. They want to go in for the dive with the final slash from this Arlot. So there is the Khalid for sure to actually go in for the flank onto the Farsa and to the back line, right? Once the Farsa ults, there is gonna be the ultimate coming in from this Khalid. So it's gonna be a problematic situation given the fact it is played well. I feel in terms of range out here, Ray, it is pretty much equal. The Farsa versus the Grandeur, pretty much good range. I think they need a little bit more burst for the early game. That might do things really well, and I think the Hayabusa is still a good option out here.
Yeah, and it has a chance of being possibly getting banned out over here. And we were discussing obviously the mage. Oh yeah, just like we predicted, the Hayabusa not going to be seeing the Land of Dawn. I feel like they should have prioritized it over the Khalid. I don't get it. Like, did Khalid get adjusted? I'll have to check the patch notes again because I feel like he is not adjusted at all to be getting picked up. But picked off over here has a picking off idea to pick off the Farsa with the Khalid. So respect to him, and we'll see how good this Desert Man works out in the game. But overall, of course, I understand the Khadita ban because, of course, Mikey, we were discussing it, right? And it is very possible that Bid could pick up to make sure that over here, the side of PD will easily get taken down, right? It makes sense. Sorry, Senju is the mid laner. Will get easily taken down by the Khadita, so it makes sense. Is that the Paquito ban? Okay, lot of unconventional picks and bans we're going to be seeing here, Mikey. What do you think of the Khalid, though? I feel like that came out of a little bit of a left hand.
Yeah, I think if they wanted to go for a bulky, fighter roamer, then they could have gone for the Kalia, because that
Yeah.
would have been a better utility than Khalid. He's a front laner for sure. He can deal some damage, but I believe Kalia would have given up the crowd control they needed. And from the side of Maaf, they do have some utilities. And right now we can see that they went for the Gacha, and I believe the AOG is going to be a very good initiator in the team fights. Just imagine AOG coming in with the Infernal Pursuit along with the Feathering Airstrike. What
Yes.
kind of radius they'll be able to cover up in this fight, Shinryu?
Absolutely.
And I feel that's a really good window for them to actually go in for, right? And the side of Anarchy, they actually want to clump up together with the Final Slash as well as the Arlot's Raging Sandstorm. They need to go in, right? And once they're going in, there's gonna be the Phobias to just annoy the heck out of them. And here comes the AOG at that point. I think it's gonna be really a game-changing skill. But I mean, at this point, I feel it's all about the timing, right, Ray? Because if they do not make the timings correct, it's gonna be really problematic. And I see a man really happy on the caster deck right now. And guess who it is?
It's my wife over here, but I kind of feel a little bit conflicted because I'm not supportive of the Joy and I'm not supportive of the Khalid. Khalid could have been a good pick if it was last. They had Hayabusa open, they did not commit it to it, despite the fact that there's already Arlot on their side, so dashing is not an issue. There's already Phobius being picked, so it's not like Phobius will get picked after you pick up the Hayabusa. So I feel like they could have picked up the Hayabusa for themselves, and they could have easily eliminated the Farsa out of the equation. So I don't really get why they did not go for a Haya, which was gonna get banned out immediately anyways. So the Khalid is bordering little bit. The Joy as well, because she cannot cover that much distance regularly, and there's a Phobias which basically counters her. So the Anarchy's draft is a little bit hiccups everywhere, but Bid, you're perfectly fine. You picked up my wife, so I give you the plus sign. But hopefully Anarchy can do figure out something on their end, and I do think they have a decent amount of draft, but the execution at the end of the day is what really would matter the most. After all, Maaf is looking beefier, has much better combination and synergy with their heroes range, and they also got the Moscow. But over here the game is starting, and Mikey and Shinryu take it over from here.
Thanks,
Well,
man.
well, well.
Mm-hmm.
The draft
game
seems
being to you,
amazing,
Mikey.
but yeah, I am quite. I am not sure what the Khalid can do in this one, but if he can be a good initiator, I think Anarchy will have, overall good fights. But beside that, all of their heroes were pretty good picks. The Joy can be a good damage dealer for sure, but he will lack durability. In the mid lane, we can see that already a lot of damage being put on Shenzhou. Just flying away from that, but we can see that PD is being taking up quite of damage, and we can see that Zushin is just bullying him right now with the continuous stomping. Shinryu.
Yeah, I mean, that is the problem. The gatekeeping from this mage is too high, right? She's so high on the zoning out with a lantern flare that it's pretty difficult to actually go in and just freely free hit those minions. But again, that is the problem they need to solve in the early game, because they need the farm. They need a lot of farm on their two members. That's going to be the YSs as well as the Moskov. So again, this time Art taking a bit of damage, but he can instantly heal it up with the quick stand guard, so it's not going to be too much of a problem. But look at the bot lane. There's a 2v1 situation, but I think your mom is going to be okay. But Beelzebub, will you be okay? Will you be forced to use your flicker? Not yet. So they still are holding on to the resources out here, Mikey.
Absolutely, we can see that Farsa is retreating a little bit as well. The Telegram is spawning in the bottom lane's river in about 15 seconds or so. And before that, we might see a fight being put up, but let's see what happens. Already, we can see that Khalid is trying to give out a bit of vision to his team, but from the side of Maaf, I believe they will try to be a bit aggressive to zone out anyone who's, coming around the turtle. And I believe from the overall situation, Maaf has a better chance to get the turtle this time. But let's see what they do. Already a fight being put up. Art is taking up a bit of damage. Obvious in being a bit of aggressive, and already we can see that Zushin is being cornered out a little bit already. First blood being secured by Shin, but Shin was taken out by Art already. Johan was taken out by Gatutkacha. Art was taken by Senzu. It is a pretty good initiation, but it was a 1-for-3 trade, I believe, and already it is on the favor of Maaf, and a rotation towards the bottom lane. We can see a bit of aggression against Allot over there, and Allot was taken out by Phobias.
Yeah, man, team Maaf definitely having the early game towards their side, but the turtles still not being taken. They lost their jungle in the process, so there was no one to actually give the damage. But again, both the teams are back at it. As you can see, there is gonna be the displacement coming in, but also Phobias going in. This time, ISS will be able to actually get the turtle towards the side of his team, and Maaf definitely in charge of the goal as well as the objective control, and they are also leading in terms of kills. You can see Phobias in a bad spot, might be too deep than he actually anticipated, and there's going to be 3 members jumping on him, and your mom will be falling shortly, and that's the second kill going to the side of Team Anarchy. So they're actually trying to get back the goal they lost in the last fight, so there's a long way to climb, but again, they need farm onto their heroes. They need to get the targets properly prior. But again, on the mid lane, the Fars are forced to use the spy wings just to get out of the harm's way. But they're more focused on farming out here, Mikey, than fighting. So Maaf definitely playing their cards well.
I believe so. Already we can see a bit of an engage might being put up towards the top lane's river. Bit being aggressive over there, and yeah, right now the overall situation I believe is kind of an equalizing situation, but we're not sure what's going to happen yet, because the overall difference that is present, it can be neutralized at any point. A bit of an engage being put up against Galtkacha, but he retreated from that, and things are going quite passive right now. A bit of an engage might put up in the bottom lane against Arlot again, but I believe since he got taken down once, he might not get that aggressive again. What do you think, Shinryu?
Yeah, I think he just should be playing a bit safely, wait for his team to rotate and then take a fight. But again, why is this going in deep between two people? Might be a suicidal move, I was gonna say, and it does ended up him costing his life. So that is not what you want to see or YS is doing in the early game. But again, Moscow this time chunk low, forced to use the flicker just to survive, and two of their main damage dealer are just being pushed back. Not really given much free farm, so that can be a problem into the mid to late game for the side of Maaf. They need to keep their farm up. They need to get control of their resources as well as the jungle. And right now, the second turtle is already up, and both the teams are trying to gain control out here. But I think side of the Maaf jungler is still a bit behind, still far away to take this. But again, your mom taking a lot of damage, forced to flicker this time. There is the feather airstrike dropping the bombardment, but again there is the cancellation coming in. But look at the backline, there is the AOG double kill on to the child, and he's looking for a third and almost getting that last hill, but Bid will also be getting taken down. And right now onto the mix is gonna be your mom in a 4v1 situation, because it's actually 3v1 situation, but still falling nevertheless. But this time definitely winning in all fronts, Mikey.
Absolutely. This particular fight gave them an advantage to take out two turrets, the top lane's tier 3 and the mid lane's tier 3. And even though they weren't able to completely take the mid lane's tier 3, they were do intense amount of damage on it. So the next push will take it down for sure. The turtle is still available in the bottom lane's river, and let's see who actually initiates for this one. Right now, the kill score is on the advantage of Maaf. They have secured 8, whereas Anarchy has got 4 kills. And when it comes to the gold advantage, it's still on the side of Maaf. They have about 1000 gold lead, which is a decent amount when it is just 6 minutes on the mark, and already a bit of an engage on PD, but he's quite bulky and he will survive for sure. But we can see a rotation from both of the teams. They are locking onto the turtle, but we're not sure if they are actually committing to it or just baiting it out. Initiation from Phobius over there. AOG coming in. A lot of engage from Provius, but he's taking up a lot of damage. Crisis took out Phobius over there. Johan was taken out by YSS. Beelzebub is trying to retreat a little bit. But the near strike being used out. Double kill for the Yisan Shin. Turtle is still being contested over here. Arlot is going aggressive, but was taken out by Senzu. Zushin is dealing a good amount of damage, but Crisis dealing intense amount of damage. He took out the YSS as well. The turtle is for Crisis for sure.
Yeah, man, this is the time where the grandeur can actually shine. The mid to late game, he actually got the kills a lot while at it. 2 kills, and I think that's gonna give him a lot more stacks onto his item. I would love to see the items at this point, because I feel that grandeur is pretty much ahead to his counterpart. That is gonna be the Moscow. So I feel this might start problems for the side of Maaf if they are not careful enough in marking his grandeur. He can literally wipe the floor off by himself. He has the range, he has the damage, and right now all he need is a little bit of space to actually go in and dish the damage. Right now again the bot lane is being the point of contention. There's gonna be the AOG dropping in, but not really connecting a good sidestep from the grandeur, so just to bait the skills out, but the turret still stands. I feel Team Anarchy, they need to find some turrets on the map. They are really lacking the map space to play with. They lost 2 of their turrets from the top and the mid lane, and right now they need to regain the control of the map if they want to win this game. But again, the YSS push into the corner on the top lane. They want to find an engage out there. You can see Art already in a good position out here. He might go in here, Mikey.
Zohan is retreated and still surviving over there. For the airstrike coming in, Art in low HP was taken out by the far side of the airstrike. Voodoo will be taken out for maybe, but no, he's still surviving. Beelzebub was taken out in the process. Grinja comes in, tries to deal a bit of damage, but he did lose to his teammates right now, so it's better to retreat right moment. But in the bottom lane, if you look at Duba, he just took out the tier 2 as well. And the bottom lane, there is only the inhibited turret standing around. So it's going to be a little bit easier right now for Maaf to go for the inhibitor in the bottom lane. Another engage coming out with an airstrike with the Farsa, but we could see the Sonata coming out from Genja dealing a lot of damage. With the process, Zushin was taken out. Another engage on Zohan, but along with the electrifying beats, he is retreating from the situation. If I say the gold lead right now, Shinjo, it's too intense for Anarchy.
Yeah, man, and actually there was another kill onto the mid lane this time. Heart actually falling, and the Lord will be also being taken down from the side of Team Maaf. And I feel, despite having the gold pretty much equal, or actually it is in the favor of Team Maaf, and actually get a lot more objectives on the map, right? Because of the range that they have onto their heroes. And also, I feel Bid, yes, he does have the control mage, the person who can actually, cancel in the dive a little bit once they're going in, but he lacks a lot of range, right? And there is the grandeur to cover it up, but I don't feel he's actually getting enough room or enough space to actually just get the window to dish in all of this damage. That is going to be the AOG zoning the members out, right? Every time he wants to go in, the AOG is dropping, and people are actually not able to just find the space they're looking for. And despite they have an R-Lot, I'm not really seeing too much of this pick. They're actually, so every time they go in, they're getting plumped up, and that's where Team Anarchy are losing their members, and they cannot take a losing fight, can they?
Yeah, and when it comes to Alot, it was a good pick, but he is facing off against Phobius, who has a bit of advantage against heroes with dashes. So I think that's why he's being in a corner-up situation. Already, we can see that from side of Anarchy, they are defending the lot, but in the process, they might lose their tier 2 in the top lane as well. We can see Art trying to read it, but most probably won't be able to. Was taken out by your mom, and already another engage on Joy, and maybe he will be taken out as well. But yeah, before that, we could see Yi Sunshin was taken out in the process. Crisis is trying to deal a bit of damage, but I believe he will need some strong front laners. I don't think Khalid was enough at this moment. Shinryu.
Yeah, they could have actually gotten in the Garud Kacha towards their side, right? The Garud Kacha would have been a perfect pick to even counter out the Farsa. But they let that hero go, and now they're facing problem because, yes, the Khalid is trying to cancel out the Feathered Airstrike and also be the frontliner. But there's always the cancel out, right? There is the taunt, there is the knock-up from the Phobius to cancel a quick Sandguard, and if he cannot heal, he cannot sustain. I think Team Maaf definitely have the edge when it comes to the draft. And right now it is being shown in the game, right? Oh, there is the flicker final slash, but it misses completely, and the AOG will be dropping once again, but there is nobody home. SOD connects as well, but they're trying to go in onto bait, taking a lot of damage. There's a knock-up, there's a taunt as well. It's gonna be Art taken down, and there's a displacement onto 2 members, and Team Anarchy, they're kind of trying to fall back, but it's not gonna be happening because Team Maaf, they're not letting them do that. 4 members already falling. Price is all by himself. The members are pretty low, but it's gonna be a cornered out fight because he's low on HP, he needs to retreat back, but Team Maaf would definitely want to take this inhibitor down, and it's gonna be a long time before the members will be back. You can see they're already soaking in all the damage, and the space is pretty open, and Crisis is zoned out, and that's gonna be the game 1 swing in the favor of Team Maaf. Total domination, they did not give any space whatsoever here, Mikey.
Yeah, absolutely. And Farsa just went in with the Feathering Airstrike and the Flicker, covered up a lot of area, dealt damage to 4 of the individuals, and was able to. And Team Maaf was able to take out all 4 of them. It was Granger who was surviving at the end, but it's not possible for a marksman to hold on to 5 of his opponents in this particular moment, right? So it was a pretty amazing push from Maaf, and they just took the advantage of it, went for the base, and just ended at that moment. And the match was just 12 minutes and 10 seconds. It was fast, and the MVP